my experience with fear is based on uncertainty. And
Mhm.
I've always wondered, why is it that we know what happened yesterday, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow? And I think that somehow that's a missing part of our humanity. I think somehow we're not applying that. I think we should know what's going to happen tomorrow, but somehow we've lost that. And I was just wondering, do you know, uh, in Science of Mind, uh, is 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 there anything written about uncertainty and how that applies to us and how we deal with that?
So, without going into my concordance and looking for uncertainty, I can't tell you definitely where, but it's talked about throughout the entire book, and it's not always called uncertainty. What it is, so what we're missing is trusting, is knowing that we are one of the one, knowing that we are unique, individualized expressions of the divine, knowing that if I set my intention and put my attention on it, it will happen. That's why Ernest Holmes chose to call it a spiritual mind treatment. That's why he chose to call it science of mind. It was actually science of mind and spirit is what he called it. And for whatever reason, the book got changed to science of mind, and that's what we call it today. But it was science of mind and spirit. It's repeatable. If you have this faith, if you feed this faith wolf, if you believe and you allow this greater expression of this divinity that you are to come forward and let go of the fear, don't just toss it away, don't just ignore it. And that's what I mean by tossing it away. Just don't ignore that it's there. Embrace the fact that it is and allow it to just dissipate because you have the faith. To me, that is the spiritual journey, the spiritual being that I am having a human experience. That is my thing. The thing is, in if I allow my ego to lead my life instead of become my ally and go hand in hand with the divinity that I am, my ego is always going to protect me and it's always going to place fear. And I'm not going to know what's going to happen tomorrow because I don't have the faith to know that it's whatever I desire. It's the culmination, it's the tendency of my thoughts that is creating my experience right now. And so if the tendency of my thoughts created the experience that I'm having right now, that means if I change my thoughts, which means I change my beliefs, which means I come back to this knowing this truth of myself, then I know what happens tomorrow because I know that the universe will conspire to make that happen. The more absolutely I know that, the quicker it comes into my experience. I become much more aware of my faith. I become much more aware of what I think about.
Mhm.
I become more aware of what I read, what I watch, who I associate with, what I bring into my line of thinking, and what I focus on. Doesn't mean that because the thought's there. What it means is I become much more I, I want to use the word diligent, but that sounds like work. It becomes more natural for me to focus on love and joy and harmony and what it is I desire. And the things that I desire will be things that will not just be good for me, but will be good for all around me.
Mhm. Good.
So I think to me, it's part of our experience. And if you look in Science of Mind and you take it with that attitude, with that focus, then the whole book is full of it, because that's what Ernest Holmes talks about just about everywhere is faith.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
So you can get a concordance that has specific words so, and I've got it here, but I don't want to grab it. And look up uncertainty, and if he's used that word, it will tell you what pages to look at.